Hi, today we're going to be talking about Super Nintendo World at Universal Studios Hollywood.
Yeah, we're going to give you some tips and reviews of the things inside Super Nintendo World, and so you can make the most of your day there. So, I'm Brad.
I'm Kim.
And we're 6260 Ohana, California.
Now, we have an important question. Did Universal Studios kind of pull a Disney on this one?
Yeah, and this is kind of an interesting thing, so we'll get to that here in a second. But first, what's the first thing you need to do to maximize your day?
We went to Universal City Walk beforehand and went to the pop-up store and ended up getting our power-up bands.
Yeah, so the reason you want to do this is there are some setup required, and actually you don't want to waste that time inside of the Super Nintendo World doing all this.
So I got Princess Peach.
And of course I got Yoshi. And a kind of a weird thing, it's just a quick little thing. We're going to do a little bit more in depth on these in a minute, but there, snap braces back to the 90s.
Maybe even 80s. Anyway, so these were $40 without an annual pass discount because unfortunately there are no annual pass discounts on the Nintendo merchandise, so it's all full price.
Yeah, so it kind of stinks, but there are some discounts available, but we'll tell you where those are available in a little bit. So the next thing you're going to have to do, once the pass holder previews are over, like us, we were able to have a reservation time before we got in the park. But once you get into the park, you're going to have to make a virtual line reservation.
So the one exception is if you have a platinum annual pass, you'll get a reservation to go in anytime after 3 o'clock, once per day per person. That's the only exception that we're aware of. Well, okay, actually I lied. If you do the VIP tour, they do go to Super Nintendo World, we've been told. But it does not include a stop at Toadstool Cafe or the 1-Up shop.
Yeah, so you're limited to the Mario Kart ride, and that's it. So, something to be aware of. There is one other exception that they're going to be doing if you want to get that virtual line early, and this is going to start on February 18th. It's going to cost you, and this is what we're talking about, maybe like a Disney type of thing. They are going to now start charging $20 to $25 for early access into the park.
So weekdays will be $20, weekends will be $25.
Yeah, so somewhere around there, and that gets you into the park so you can make that virtual line and be one of the first groups to go into Super Nintendo World. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a cash grab, isn't it?
Yeah, so we're saying that's kind of like Disney has Rise of the Resistance or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad or something like that, where you're paying extra right now at Disneyland on top of what you do to get in.
So those crowds are probably going to be really busy in the morning, and people are going to pay that because they really want to go see this.
Right, and Disney has their Lightning Lane Genie Plus, but on top of that, those two other rides are extra. So Universal's done something similar too. They have a front of the line pass.
But it does give you access one time per day to Super Nintendo World, but it does not allow you to skip the line as a regular express pass to Mario Kart. Okay, let's go ahead and go to once you get that, and if you have an early time, you want to get right down to Super Nintendo World. The reason why is, for us, they started lining us up about 20 minutes before our time was set.
Now the cool thing is we were all waiting. The lead team member from Toadstool Cafe came around and went in the order line and started asking if anybody was going to go to Toadstool Cafe and gave you a return time for your party. So you could only return during those times. So good and bad, you could kind of plan your time there a little bit.
So what we're seeing here is this is probably something they're going to keep because the first day it was a nightmare, the preview.
So we were told it was like a 90+ minute wait to get into Toadstool Cafe before. That's not a ride, that's just food. Yeah. So I think they worked out some kinks, and I suspect that Universal is still going to learn and work out some kinks on this one.
And also let you know is during the preview, they told us we had an hour and a half to 2 hours to get through the whole thing. So,
and with that 2 hours, you could be in line. You just couldn't add in a new line into Super Mario Kart Browser's Challenge, or you couldn't go and get into line for Toadstool Cafe after that time. But if you're like, let's say you got at an hour and 59 minutes, you could still get in that line. So
getting there is super important to get there early so you get the time. And they said, hey, you can trade with your friends if you want a certain time for Toadstool Cafe. But we would fully recommend is getting there first so you can get that first time into Toadstool Cafe. And that's for the reason if you really want to do everything in there. Okay, so once we got our coupons for Toadstool Cafe, we warped into Super Nintendo World, which is really cool. I mean, that whole area just envelops you into that game.
I love walking through. It's got the lights. It's like a rainbow tunnel, and it's just fun entrance to land.
So you end up in Princess Peach's castle, and you kind of see the different photos and everything when you walk into this whole world, and you just immerse into Nintendo. It feels like you stepped into the video game. And then you also can you start collecting stickers. So everywhere you go, you can collect stickers on the app. Really give Universal a lot of credit. The app is easy to use. It's easy to set up the bands, and really interactive with everything it is. One thing we've been warned about, and we saw people doing, is with these, is they're hitting the block with these. Don't do that because they will break it. You actually just have it on your wrist, and then you can hit it up on the block with your hand.
I actually had trouble with the amount of force I was putting into it.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't get mine to. I'd have you do mine.
Yeah, and I actually had to have some force to do it. So that's something with these bands that we're aware of. So let's go to Toadstool Cafe to start out with.
Well, they did let us in, like, it was like 5-10 minutes earlier. So we did go straight to Toadstool Cafe, and we had a 1 o'clock return time. But even though it was 10 minutes early, they let us get in line. And I think we got through as fast as we could.
Yeah, so we went through Toadstool Cafe, and I think there was already a line from before. And that was about 25 to 30 minute line. And once we got up there, we made our order. So let's go ahead and go into the review of Toadstool Cafe first.
So Toadstool Cafe, it's really cute when you walk in. Very interactive. Almost reminds me of like a ride queue line.
Yeah, it was, they had the menus that are kind of doing different things with the menus. They had characters flipping things, and it was just a neat line. Only negative is once we got to the front to make our order.
So then they assign you a line. Brad and I did not have luck on our side. We got put in a team member who seemed to be struggling a bit. So the other two lines were like doubling what we were going through, while this poor team member, we understand it's opening, it was like 3 days in, and they're still trying to figure out.
It was 2 days in.
Oh, 2 days in. Mm-hmm. And they were still trying to figure out what's going on. So I have a feeling that will change in the future for other people, but you never know. You might get assigned to line that there's a bigger party or something like that. That's the only drawback of not being able to choose your line. Mm-hmm.
So the other thing is that we had a problem with is it's really loud in those lines. You can't hear, and unfortunately, Kim ordered, she wanted the meatballs.
I wanted to get the fire flour spaghetti and meatballs, but instead, the team member heard power up
spaghetti.
Or just spaghetti. So it was really loud. It's my mistake because I also didn't look at our receipt. So that's on me. But one of those things, it was so loud she couldn't hear, and they sounded similar enough that she heard power up spaghetti, not fire flour spaghetti meatballs.
They really need to make these names a little bit easier, I think. So yeah,
well, it's all themed.
Yeah, so it is loud in there. So be really aware and review order. The kind of cool thing that they do, and we really like that they did this, is they give you your drinks at that point, but they don't give you your food at that point. And the reason is you actually walk over and they sign you a table at that point for your group to go sit down with your number and everything else.
It's got like the old-fashioned little pager that lights up.
What's cool about this is you're not fighting for space at the restaurant. You're not trying to get the best table and maneuver yourself for that table. They assign you a table, and then they bring your food out to you.
Well, they also help carry drinks, which is nice if you have like a large family, lots of kids, 1 or 2 parents or whatever, trying to juggle things. That was kind of a nice touch.
Yeah. And going inside Toadstool Cafe for the area where you eat it, it's really cool. They have a lot of visuals going on. Yeah. There's things that are interactive that go around. It's kind of like you're eating in Toadstool Cafe with the game going on around you. And
that's a good way to put it. Yeah. I like that.
It was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed the scenery and the way it was set up. The
atmosphere was amazing.
Yeah, the atmosphere is excellent. Now let's get to the part when they give you your food. Unfortunately, when they're bringing your food out, our food was a little bit, would you say, cold?
Yeah, just a hairline, but it didn't, at that point we were hungry. We're like, we just want to get on with it. So it was edible. It wasn't like it was really bad to the point that it wasn't like cold.
Yeah, it wasn't freezing cold. It was just warm.
So that might be just a little nitpick thing.
Yeah, well, we're going to get more into this. So
that's why I'm saying that part's the nitpick.
Yeah. So let's go into what we ordered. So the first thing I ordered was the Superstar Lemon Squish. And yeah, again, these names are not the easiest to say. Actually, I really like that.
So that's a honey lemon soda with mango stars and a soda tropical boba. I really liked it. When I heard the description, I was kind of like, that's going to be weird.
Yeah, we're like, well, we're going to try new things. And we've already previously tried the 3 other drinks, which was the Luigi Sour Apple, the Mario Strawberry,
Yes.
and the Princess Peach bobas that they had out front. And none of us agreed on what one we liked the best. We all had our favorites in our hands, which...
Between a family of 3, each of us had a different favorite.
Yeah.
So that was outside, but within Super Mario
This
World,
is the only one that's available at the at Toadstool Cafe.
Yeah,
and
so those special drinks are outside. It's kind of like that pop-up stand.
yeah, it's right out front. But
It's like right before, it's around like that whole square where Jurassic World and Mummy is.
Yeah.
So those are specialty drinks out there. The only specialty drink you can get in the land is the Superstar Lemon Squish.
And really, that's my favorite out of all of them. I really like that one. Kim was like, she liked the peach still.
I did.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed yours too. So
yeah.
I don't think that I think the drinks are probably one of my favorite things that they did with Super Nintendo World.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about the other things we did order.
Brad and I decided we were going to sample a lot of the menu and kind of share things. So we started out with the Toadstool cheesy garlic knots. It's in a mushroom shape, which was really cute.
Mm-hmm. It was okay.
They put like a garlic butter on it, and like kind of a weird is they put parsley bits on it. Mm-hmm. It's I would place it as a mild garlic.
It's like they were trying to do garlic knots, but it wasn't very garlicky.
It was mildly garlic.
If you don't like garlic, really, the garlic was not strong at all.
I felt like it was more cheesy because it does have a Parmesan on
Yeah.
it too. And then it came with a marinara dip. So
nothing special there, really.
yeah, I think they were okay. They're pretty. I mean, they're an appetizer.
Okay, and then for our main meals, like we were talking, Kim got the...
I ended up with the fire flour spaghetti and meatballs. It came with a Parmesan crisp and shaved Parmesan. Those weren't very good.
No, it almost tasted like me. They had got a bottle of ragu and some pasta and put it together, and that was it.
It reminded me of when I was back in like elementary school, like cafeteria spaghetti, like, and not the best spaghetti. Like I couldn't recommend their spaghetti.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to try the meatballs, but I'm kind of guessing the other full portion meal of that is not going to be much better, truthfully.
Okay, so that was kind of my start to my meal. You tried it, and we both just kind of like, I wouldn't order it again.
Yep. So what I got was the Mario burger, which is going to have bacon, mushroom, cheese, a basic
lettuce, tomato kind of thing.
Yeah. And so let's talk about what my burger did not have. I'm not a big fan of mushrooms, so I was okay with this, but they didn't have any mushrooms on mine.
Which, okay, I was kind of disappointed. One of the things about this burger was there was zero flavor, even with bacon.
Yeah, the bacon, you could taste the bacon, but no amount of bacon in the world was going to make this burger flavorful. I mean, it's really cool how they have the mustache on the outside of the burger. Yeah. Its presentation's really neat, and this is a great thing. Everything here, the presentation's great.
This is definitely like photographical, social media shareable, really cute, decorated food.
Mm-hmm. But the burger had zero flavor to it. Even with everything that we tried to put on it, we didn't have mushrooms that didn't come that were supposed to be on it. We're kind of putting that up to first woes, but that should have been something that should have been checked before it came out of the kitchen, truthfully.
And the other thing is, quite frankly, this burger had no seasoning, no flavor. Even putting ketchup on it didn't really save this burger. It was just bland.
And the thing is really we were looking around and we noticed a lot of people not eating the full burger. I was hungry. I didn't want to finish this burger because it wasn't that good.
So we hadn't eaten all day, and Brad and I shared this burger and a kid-sized spaghetti, and there was leftovers on both plates.
Let's put it this way: it is just some of the
worst meal I've ever had at Universal Studios.
Yeah, and I'm sorry.
I know
it was bad.
I had high hopes.
But there was some redeeming factors to this meal, which was the desserts.
So the drink and the desserts are what makes the Toadstool Cafe. We decided we were going to kind of sample all the desserts and share them. Well, that didn't quite happen because the Mount Bean pull cake was sold out. So that was day 2 of the previews.
We were kind of okay with that, truthfully.
Okay. I mean, it would have been fun to try, but it was okay.
So what I got was the question block tiramisu, which... yeah, it's kind of hard to say, which really, truthfully, was just okay. I mean, it wasn't bad, and actually, for a Universal Studios dessert, it was one of the better ones.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. So I ended up with the Princess Peach cupcake. This cupcake is beautiful. It is amazing, but holy frosting.
Yeah.
I scraped half the frosting off. Too much. But I guess you want pretty pictures and all that stuff, but that was too much frosting for me. So mine had like the funfetti like cake, and then inside it ended up having I think it was like a peach filling, like there was a jelly inside. So it was really good. I really liked the cupcake, considering I would put the cupcake as my favorite food item.
Yeah, so really for Universal Desserts, this is doing really well.
Yeah, it is like most of their desserts. If you've had a Harry Potter cupcake, if you had a whatever, it kind of is along those type of cupcakes. They're good. They're decent. They're not something I'm going to be like, oh, I'm craving, but it's good.
So our overall thoughts about Toadstool Cafe? Go for the drink and the desserts and skip the rest. And the atmosphere, of course. The atmosphere, again, is really cool.
Yeah.
But
if you had time for like a drink and dessert at the end of the day instead of a full meal, that would be like the perfect place to go.
But it's like I said, that we actually started noticing other tables like us that were not eating everything on their plates. It's just because they didn't like it. And we actually saw some people sending things back because it was so bad.
So in all reality, both of us walked away and we kind of said we wish we had tried the salads.
Yeah. And that's unusual for us at a restaurant.
Actually, the salad sounded really good, so maybe I would try the salad.
Maybe we'll try that at some point. So one thing to know about Toadstool Cafe, we told you there is a discount available. They do use annual pass discounts at Toadstool Cafe, so you can get that discount for the food there. So it wasn't a total waste, I guess the way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did we do right after that? The reason we wanted you to go we went to Toadstool first because this is actually what we've been told, and it was a great use of time. It gave us time afterwards to go see the one-up shop real quick, which really, it's neat to go in there, but all that merchandise is available out throughout the park and at City Walk.
Might have been like one or two small things, but nothing that like I feel like everybody's gonna rush there and want to get.
It's kind of cool to take a quick look. I would take a quick look and be like, okay, let's go.
The next place I went real quick because we knew that Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge was going to be a long line. I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Now, cool thing about the women's bathroom, I don't know about the men's, but they had a really cool mural over the sink, and I didn't take pictures because I'm not in the picture.
Yeah, that's kind of disturbing taking it. Yeah.
It would be awkward, but it's a really beautiful mural. It's like the underwater scenes with the squids and all that. It's really cool. It's beautifully done. But there's so few bathroom stalls that there was a long line. So I just washed my hands and went.
I never used the restroom, so I don't know. So one of the things I did while I was waiting for Kim was there are screens out there you can tap your one-up band to, and you can find out your rankings and everything else, which is kind of cool, especially for kids that may not have phones or you don't want to have your phone. So that's kind of a neat thing to have out there. Also, another thing to know is we talked about these power-up bands. There's a weird way you can purchase them. There's like, I guess the way we put it, it's like Japan really loves vending machines. Well, they have power-up band vending machines that are right against one wall too. So if you want to do that experience, we still would recommend buying before in the park. So what did we do after all this? Well, we went right to Mario Kart Racers.
Okay, so we were, I think he said it was a 150-minute wait.
Yeah, we're like,
ooh.
we're like, that's our whole time. That's just why we're sending to go through with the limited times that you would have into the park.
That's why we wanted to go to Toadstool Cafe first and then over, because we didn't want to run out of time to go to Toadstool Cafe.
So we got in line, and really that line is really cool.
It's very, the one thing I will say, even if you don't have a disability, but stairs are hard for you, there is a massive amount of stairs. I have never seen a queue with so many stairs.
Yeah, there's a ton of stairs throughout that whole area. They do have access if you do need it. I would talk to a team member just to find out, and they would probably walk you through that. But the stairs were massive.
I think there was 3 or 4 different sets of huge stairs. So it was not something that I've seen in any other queue ever to have that amount of stairs.
Mm-hmm. But talking about the queue, a lot of the queue was a lot of fun just to look at in different worlds you were going through, different areas of Bowser's Castle, and then you got into Bowser's Lab before the card.
Well, no, before that. I would say even outside of Bowser's castle, you have this beautiful overview of Super Nintendo World. Like, you can see everything, and that's such a cool view.
Then you walk into Bowser's Castle right to the mouth. You know, you kind of seen those, and there's a big statue, and you're actually in Bowser's Castle going through everything, which is really cool. All the different detail they put into this, and I really give them Universal huge props. And I guess we have to say Nintendo too, because how much detail they put this into.
That was incredible. So we finally get to the front, and before we get through, they give us these helmets to put on so that our ride glasses will attach to them.
Yeah, and we'll get a little bit of that. So that's the first room we go into.
Oh.
And then after that room, they kind of, I don't remember really, it was more of just a gathering area to get you together. Then they move into another room where they tell you how to use these helmets. And they go through it like 3 or 4 times. So it's...
Well, I think the ride got stuck at one point, so I think we saw more than our fair share.
Well, we went through it, and basically, these helmets go on your head. You tighten down in the back.
So we'll show you guys video.
And then after that, we got in line and went to the ride. And you sit down in the carts, which is kind of a weird...
They're not the most comfortable, but
Yeah.
it's kind of like a multi-level. I think if I did it again, I'd want to be on the second row because it's a little bit higher up, and I think you could see a little bit better.
Yeah, in the lower level, you felt like you're dropping down quite a bit.
And the one thing about these rides is there have been issues with weight and people in size being able to get on these rides. I'm going to say I got on this ride. I've ridden Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. That's a tight fit, but it's not uncomfortable. This is a next level of discomfort. So if you're having trouble with Secret Life of Pets ride vehicles or Harry Potter ride vehicles, this may be restricted from you. This might, so I would ask to see the test cart ahead of time if you have questions.
Okay, so once you get in, you actually grab your VR glasses and you take them and you snap them on. They're magnetic. I had a hard time getting mine to attach for some weird reason. And I was kind of like, okay, and I finally got it attached. Also, another thing is I was able to leave my hat on, but I had to turn it on backwards and tighten it down in case you didn't want all those things on your head. I just figured it was better, and it felt weird because you set everything on the floor, and I was really concerned about this because I thought we were going to have some speed with this. Don't be concerned with your belongings on the floor.
Anyway, before we get to that, we'll get to that in a moment. But these helmets they give you are extremely heavy on your head.
And they're slightly uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable. Truthfully, you do not have to wear a helmet or glasses on the ride, supposedly, because there's still like little things that you could see. You could try to hold the glasses in place. For me, I'm a migraine sufferer. I'm very mild, thankfully, but this ride did trigger a migraine because of the helmet.
Okay. And I have a problem with a lot of VR and different like Harry Potter, those type of 3D type of...
Making you motion sick.
Yeah, making me motion sick. I did not get any of that with this. And again, it's like, this is interesting ride. So let's go ahead and start. Basically, the ride is you're in a cart kind of racing. You shoot your turtles. And I'll show you what basically AR is you're seeing everything that's around you that's already there, but it adds a different layer of video screen where you move your head and you get to see all this stuff that's going on. And as I'm showing you on and off of what the ride looked like, it's really cool how this works. I thought as a person who loves tech and everything, it felt very natural when you're doing things and shooting things, but it was fun.
So anyways, we got off the ride, we got our coins. Oh, we forgot to tell you, you tap your power up band so that you can get the coins for your efforts.
Yeah, for the game within the app. But really overall ride, I thought it was going to be faster.
There are different versions, so you may not always get the same version. It is a very slow ride. I would put this even slower than the dark rides at Disneyland.
And truthfully, we had people were concerned like we were with these coming off because these are really big and bulky, as you can tell.
And they don't stay on the best.
Yeah, and you can literally flick your wrist hard and they will come off. Everybody's like, oh, on this ride, I wish they had something that you're not going fast enough for them to fall off. So I wouldn't worry about that.
So I think the ride is slow. There's supposed to be different versions. It was cool to see how immersive it was in the whole game, and growing up playing Super Mario Brothers games and Nintendo games, I never thought I'd be in a place that brought that all to life like that.
So yeah, we enjoyed the ride. It wasn't fast. It wasn't what we were expecting coming out of there. I think a lot of people had the same thoughts. I mean, it's still really cool, the technology they used in this ride.
I think next time, because the helmet gave me a migraine, I would just try to hold the glasses. I don't know if that's going to affect my game, but I wanted to try that next time.
So yeah, it's a neat ride. It's not what we envisioned. We thought it was going to be speed. Again, that's us. Basically, after that, what we ended up doing is just go walking around, hitting some blocks, and exploring a little bit, which is cool. You got characters that are out there. You had Mario, Luigi, and Princess Peach we saw walking around. You can get pictures with them.
They had like interactive. I want to say like there was the fire flower like interactive picture. You could get things like that was kind of different and cool, and those would have been fun. Those lines were super long, and we were getting up to the end of our 2 hours. We did find out on our day that the 2 hour wait, it was like besides Toadstool Cafe and Super Mario Kart that they didn't really care.
Yeah, and really the wait for Bowser or for the Mario Kart was knocked down to 95 minutes when we got off of it. And
we didn't wait the 150 minutes. It went thankfully much faster.
So those line times, they're still trying to probably
adjust and figure out.
So overall, after that, so it's like I said, after that we went and tried to do something interactive. There's some tunnels, there's some interactive
the question coin boxes.
So the pow, the dynamites and everything throughout, and some tunnels, and we really wanted to kind of immerse ourselves into it. So overall, what is our overall thoughts of Super Nintendo World? We have some criticisms and we have some great things about it. I think this first thing we're going to say is they did an excellent job of hitting everybody's, what do you call it?
Nostalgia?
Yeah, the nostalgia from our age to up
and
to
younger
that played Mario Kart. Who have done all this. I mean, Mario Kart's still one of the top selling Nintendo Switch games, believe it or not, and it's been out for a while. To us that we played on the original Nintendo NES, that we all enjoyed it. We actually saw families completely decked out, dressed up for this.
That was really cool.
So people really went all out because it's a non-generational bringing it together because we all grew up with this. We do have some criticisms. One are these, and the reason we're talking about these are really big and bulky. They're $40 each, and they only serve one purpose, and that's for in the land.
And really to collect coins and play the game. I don't feel like that would make or break. Quite frankly, I don't know, knowing what I know now, if I would have gotten one.
Yeah, they don't do anything. They don't light up. They don't. I mean. And I hate to say it, we have to compare them to Disney's Magic Band Pluses, where they are interactive. They light up and do different things as you get off rides. These just don't do it. Only thing you do if you're collecting amiibos for a Nintendo, they are amiibos. So there's one little thing you can take home with you and use but they're only usable on the Nintendo Switch. So if you have it on the 3DS, you can't do it.
So good and bad, they do not allow strollers in the land. So I guess if you have a bunch of young kids and you're trying to move around, that could be difficult because you have to leave them outside, like on the other side of Transformers. So you can't even bring them through the entrance.
I get it because it's really busy and it is a little bit tighter in that area. So it's one of those things. Another thing is you're going to be touching everything. It's just one of those things. If you have uncomfortable with doing that, yeah, it's there. Really, the power-up blocks and all that, well, it was kind of entertaining for the first couple times we did it.
It wasn't something I'd be like, I have to sit there and just collect coins. And that's a personal thing, because I could see where younger kids would think this is like the best thing ever.
Yeah, but for us, we were just like, okay, that's cool. We're done. So really, if you get one of these, maybe just one for your kids or just one for the family and use it.
Or share, yeah.
I mean, for $40, these are just a little too expensive for my taste.
Exactly. Now, the other thing I would say was, so let's get back to what I would compare it to. I would compare it to my other favorite land, which is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Guys, I would take Wizarding World of Harry Potter over Super Nintendo World. I know I said it, but take me back to Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. I feel like that's more of an exciting ride than Super Mario Kart.
I'm back and forth on it.
Okay.
And the reason is again, the nostalgia of the whole Super Nintendo world really puts you into that whole nostalgia. I do enjoy the Wizarding World of Harry Potter because it's just so much more massive, I think is what it is.
And that might be what it is too. Because I would definitely, if I was looking at what type of interactive thing I'd want at Universal, I would want a Harry Potter wand versus power-up bands.
So, and the prices for the wands are running, what would you see, about $45 to $50?
And you still get the annual pass discount on that.
Yeah, so... Yeah, take it as you will.
Yeah,
I
feel like there's more interactive elements at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter than
especially
there
if we're going to go back a lot. And that's the hard part, is that we're going back, so I don't know if we're going to bring these with us next time or not.
I probably will, just because we already have them. But if I were like a one-time summer vacation, or this is like the one time or you don't go very often and you didn't think, I would maybe pass on this. I would still think the wand would be a better...
Here's an idea you could do. Do one of these and one wand, and you cover yourself, you know, if you got two people in your group, and you can both do everything.
There you go. I like it.
Okay. Another thing about these that I forgot to say about it is that you can set up multiple bands on your app, so you don't have to have, you're not limited to just one.
So, of course, we're going to be going back once it officially opens and bring you more tips and how things really pan out. And like I said, we'll try it without the helmet so that I'm just wearing the glasses and see if that's better or what complications I might have doing it that way instead.
So overall, it's a great place to go to. It's fun. We did notice some other things that are side effects of this. We noticed the Mummy, when we were there, was at 5 minutes. We noticed the ride times for Harry Potter were at 15 minutes.
They were all walk-ons.
And this is during a regular weekday of school day, so that was a lot lower for that reason.
But I expected it was going to be busier because after people had their reservations, they were still in the park. But it seemed like people just left.
Yep. So there's the side effect that we were talking about. If you watched What to Know Before You Go, is that those ride times are actually dropped down. And they're pretty low, so that's great. So if you found this video informational and helpful, please
like,
subscribe,
and follow along with our Ohana.
And with that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye and
Find your magic. Bye, everyone.